and let everybody get started before we really start it. But welcome to our first real official live stream. Excited to be here, and hopefully we get a couple people that will join and chat. And let's not forget as well, we are going to be doing an MLB subscriber giveaway. So we got your names down for the draw. So good luck to everybody who was able to do that. So as I said, we will give this a few minutes and we'll let everybody join. And today will be our first official Sunday talk. So excited about that. Looks like we are up and going live. So hopefully it's going to go good. So just checking our comments here, making sure everything's ticking and looking good. So as I said, welcome to the first official Blue Jays Rambles MLB chat for Sunday of 2023. Glad everybody's here. I always say this at the beginning. Haven't hit like or subscribe, please do so. Really appreciate your support. The best way you can help me out is by hitting like and subscribe. And hey, we do giveaways, and pardon me for a second as I grab it. We're giving away a pair of MLB gloves today, and these are official MLB merchandise, so not cheaping out. So we did an MLB prize vlog back on the 24th. All you had to do was tell me your favorite movie. We ended up getting a couple entries, well, 7. So thank you to all those people that did enter. And next time maybe we'll get a little bit bigger, so we'll just have to wait and see. So let's not waste any time. New Year's resolutions. That's right, it is the New Year's 2023. Just about to put out a vlog where I am going to be talking about what I hope from the Toronto Blue Jays for New Year's resolutions. That's right. Things that I hope they can improve on for the 2023 season. I'm sure everybody out there has their thoughts on that. And for me, the big one of the three was defense. Defense. That's right. Now, we got to give credit to Vladdy. This guy went out and won himself a Gold Glove. Who would have thought that? Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Gold Glove winner at first base. But hey, that is awesome. Just builds this guy. Going to make him a little bit more expensive, and we're certainly going to talk about that in a little bit in the MLB live stream today. But back to defensive. Bo, for the first half of the season, his defensive abilities at shortstop was spotty at best at times. However, he turned it around magnificently for the second half. Not only did his defensive abilities significantly climb, on top of that, he had one of the best months of September for any Blue Jay and was the best shortstop in all of baseball for the month of September, having the Jays surge into the playoffs, which didn't go very well. However, the outfield was a huge question mark for the Jays the entire season. We won't talk about that last playoff game, what happened in center field with the collision. Still having nightmare flashbacks about that. Nonetheless, the Jays outfield always ranked in the bottom third of all of baseball through the entirety of the 2023 season. So the Jays needed to make some moves to address this. You can't just make players better overnight, but what they can do is move George Springer to the corner, and that should really help him out for his last half of his contract and actually increase his defensive abilities. And in doing so, the Jays went out and signed Kevin Kiermaier, and this guy is one of the best defensive outfielders. Two big, huge questions, though, about Kevin Kiermaier. First one, is he going to be healthy enough to play a full season? He had that hip injury. And then second of that, is he going to be a 220 batter who defends the outfield well? It's 220 average. That seems like a bench player to me. But we don't want him to be a bench player. All things indicate that Kevin Kiermaier is going to be playing the outfield solidly for the entire season. And then the Jays go out and make that huge trade, sending away Gabriel Moreno and Lourdes Gurriel. We'll have to see if it's an overpay. But in return, we got that big lefty bat and Dalton Varsho. Huge outfield defensive abilities. This guy's young, just growing into the outfield. He started as a catcher, but everything indicates that with Dalton, Kevin Kiermaier, and George Springer in the corner, the Jays' outfield defense will be significantly improved, and that can only mean more wins for the Jays in the win column. On top of that, the second New Year's resolution that I hope for the Jays was a little bit more focus going into next season. I understand that we have a young team, an exciting team, a team that likes to play, have fun on and off the field, But when you're on the field, let's remember that you're professionals. And I'm not saying this as anything as a deep cut to any player, just that at times it felt like there was a lack of focus for the Toronto Blue Jays. I really thought after losing out on the playoffs by one game, they would have that energy going into the 2022 season where every single game mattered. And at times it seemed like it lacked that focus. So hopefully there'll be an increase in that, and certainly adding a veteran coach like Don Mattingly to go with John Schneider, there's going to be no BS. So let's see how that works. And those two things combined lead me into my third resolution, which is, hey, can we actually win a playoff game next year? That's right. The Jays have made it to the playoffs twice with this young core. 2020 was a bit of an abbreviation, but last year certainly was not. And in doing so, they have not even won a playoff game yet. Let's not talk about moving past the wild card or the American League Championship Series. Let's just talk about winning a game. So that increased focus, that increased defensibility, I think will get us that win. Let's check the comments here and see how it's going. Hey, glad to see some guys on here talking. Good to see Adam. Glad you're here. Nice to see you, Ron. Yes, some people who actually entered the prize vlog. As I said, we're going to be giving away some gloves a little bit later. But let's talk baseball right now. And it seems like the Jays' moves are done. Pardon me as I have a drink here. Not the type that we should. I'm sure some of you indulged last night, though. Nonetheless, back to baseball. One of the things the Jays have to do now that really their season is done, their big moves are over, maybe a few bench players like Ramal Tapia, is extensions. That's right. Specifically, Vladdy. It's going to be the elephant in the room for the Toronto Blue Jays moving forward. This guy's probably going to want at least $400 million. And the longer the Jays wait on him, the more of a chance that Vladdy goes, you know what, I'll just ride out the next 2 years and look for a big, huge paycheck. Now, Vladdy wants to be a Blue Jay. He says he wants to be a Blue Jay for life. He's passionate about this. Let's see if we can make that happen. And some of the things that the Jays could do is structure the contract in a way that Vladdy could opt out maybe twice, after year 5 and after year 9, giving him a 14-year contract in total, just a little bit over $400 million. And it gives Vladdy the chance to say after 5 years, you know what, I really do want to test free agency. He'll still be under 30 at that time, so he'll certainly demand and probably get an Aaron Judge, if not bigger type contract, as long as Vladdy stays Vladdy for the next 5 years. Allows the Jays a chance to say, hey, we did do that big long-term contract, even though he opted out. And it allows Vladdy to stay in the Jays organization, specifically past 2025. That's one of the big things that's going to be interesting for the Jays moving forward. We have a lot of talent, but a lot of talent that's going to be turning over in the years 2025, 2026. So are the Jays going to extend? Are they going to treat 2025 as a year where they trade away some talent and start to rebuild? Let's not talk about rebuilding yet. Let's talk about winning. And to win, they got to get Vladdy signed. Talking about that, big news in trades, Bryan Reynolds. Let's talk about Bryan Reynolds. That's somebody who I was really hoping the Jays were going to get aggressive and go after. Nothing against Dalton Varsho, but I really wanted Bryan Reynolds, and I think a team is going to get him. And I actually suspect that a team's going to land Bryan Reynolds before the season starts. Now, little bit of drama over in Pittsburgh. Bryan Reynolds first said, hey, I want to be traded this offseason. Management quickly reacted and said, hey, we don't have any intention of trading you right away. And that is to increase his stock. If you have a player who seems to be disgruntled and wants out, you got teams, I don't want to say picking the bones, but certainly lowering their offers, pardon me. But if you have a management in the front office that says, hey, we're not going to necessarily trade him away, it makes teams to get a little bit more aggressive and a little bit bigger with their bids in the prospect package that Pittsburgh wants. And rumor is Pittsburgh, wants a huge haul for Bryan Reynolds. Maybe not Juan Soto, but maybe, as rumors have said, 80% of that. So who are the two big teams who I think will ante up to get Bryan Reynolds? I think it's going to come down to the Yankees and the Giants. I still think the Giants are in on this. They really lost out big on Aaron Judge. And then there was Carlos, who ultimately, I don't know if he's going to be a Met or not. Who knows with that drama. But they just keep missing. So somebody like Bryan Reynolds would certainly make up for that. However, I suspect it's going to be that sneaky Yankees. They have a huge need in outfield, a huge hole. And with everything that they've done to add talent this year with the Judge extension and Carlos Rodon, they can't afford to have such a big hole. So Brian Reynolds makes perfect sense for the Yankees if they can offer the prospect package that the Pittsburgh wants. And Pittsburgh wants starting pitching. Ben Sherrington of the Pirates, GM there, said that all along. And that's really the hole for the Yankees right now, where this deal would already be done, because the Yankees, other than Warren, really don't have a deep farm system for pitching. They got lots of awesome infielders, but their pitching, not so great. So we'll see if they can overcompensate with some infield prospects to get the deal done with Pittsburgh. Talking about baseball, somebody else talking football too. Yeah, lots going on in sports today. The Jays bullpen. Ross Atkins made a huge announcement. Not huge announcement, I should say huge prediction. Or huge saying, hey, this is what's going to happen. The Jays bullpen is going to be exceptional for 2023. Yeah, when he said that, a lot of Jays fans went, huh, really? Exceptional? It's going to be that great? And I did some digging and did a vlog on that just went out today, so I hope you check it out. But the skinny on it is the Jays bullpen actually could be very, very good next year. We have to have continued success from the core that we built by adding Anthony Bass last year at the trade deadline, but certainly with Eric Swanson and that huge 1.68 ERA, and Nate Pearson, who's been lighting it up in winter ball as a reliever for the first time, adding Pearson and Swanson to that group, that actually could be lights out for a lot of games, and that's good news for the Jays fans and better news if they want to go deep into the postseason. So yeah, there is some validity to what Ross Atkins said. Yeah, I said validness in my vlog, so ignore that. I should have said validity. Just a slip of the tongue. Anyways, don't worry. We are going to be getting up to the MLB prize vlog giveaway. We'll be doing that soon. I said we'll talk for like 30 minutes today. It's our first MLB live stream of the year, so we won't go too long. But we'll just see how it goes, and we can certainly dust off some of those cobwebs that happened during the live stream. So talking about trades, I said Brian Reynolds earlier. A more intriguing player on the market, in my opinion, is Ha-Seong Kim. That's right, the Padres went crazy like the Mets, overloaded themselves now with talent, and they got some excess players that they would like to trade away, and certainly maybe build up their prospects. Their farm system is bare. Oh yeah, bone bare. So in doing so, Trent Grisham is up for grabs, but more interestingly, Ha-Seong Kim, who I said to myself that Jay should actually consider making a play for. I know he might be a bit of a bench player this year, which could certainly suck for Ha-Seong Kim, but moving forward for the last 2 years of his contract, he could actually be an impact player for the Jays that comes in under $9 million annually. And let's think about this. Whit Merrifield or Matt Chapman, one or both will be gone after next season. But so having Ha-Seong Kim waiting there to gobble up one of those two positions could make next year's offseason a little bit easier for Toronto. Especially if we get outbid for somebody like Matt Chapman or easily Whit Merrifield. Ha-Seong Kim is a super utility player. I said there's a lot of comparisons to him to DJ LeMahieu over at the Yankees, just without the big, huge bat. But nonetheless, Ha-Seong Kim could play second, shortstop. I know we have Bo, but certainly second or third base for the Jays, and could be an amazing insurance piece. This guy finally made some impact last year, hit just over 250. So he's not that 202 average like he was for his first year in the majors with the Padres. But I suspect that the Jays will a little miss this just because they're comfortable right now. And there's a little bit more of an urgency over in Boston, especially with Xander Bogaerts gone now. And I can see the Boston Red Sox finding a way to get Ha-Seong Kim on their roster. So Ha-Seong Kim, I suspect Boston Red Sox. Makes sense. I'm talking about the Padres. Let's talk about the Padres and the Mets. Holy Batman overspend. This is just insanity. Makes me think that they need to have some sort of salary cap in baseball. We won't talk about that today, but that's certainly a vlog that I should do because it makes it impossible for small teams to compete, small market teams to compete, when you got somebody like Steve Cohen, Big Daddy Pockets from the Mets, spending over $300 million. Just insane. Pardon my dog, he's snoring there. That's how much he enjoys my vlogs here on a Sunday. But nonetheless, Padres or the Mets? Which one do you think? I suspect one of them is going to be certainly a bust next year. Not a bust that they're going to have a losing season, but certainly fall below expectations. And part of me think it's going to be the Mets. Padres, I actually think, are going to do very well and position themselves to actually do a World Series run next year. But we'll talk about that on another day. But nonetheless, one of those big two teams are certainly going to go bust next year or under expectations. And my bet is the Mets. So, talking about extensions, I think we need to talk about Alek Manoah. I know people are going to say Bo Bichette, but let's talk about Manoah for a second. If the Jays have the opportunity to lock up Alek Manoah now and young, like some other players have done with their young pitching, it gives us a chance to maybe lock him down for $13 to $14 million annually for the next 5 years. I know that only gives us one more year of control, but the important thing is there's no more arbitration with Alek Manoah. We get that extra year. We keep his costs low for us, and it allows the Jays to have that financial flexibility for the Vladdy extensions, Alejandro Kirk, as well as many $20 million plus contracts in Bassett, Berrios, Gausman, Springer, etc., etc. And that's why I think there's an urgency this year to sign not only Vladdy, but Alek Manoah now to that extension. I wonder what you think about that one. Might be a bit of a head scratcher considering we got years of arbitration ahead of us, but by doing so, as I said, it keeps the value low and it allows the Jays to have a little bit more freedom moving forward for the 2023 and more specifically 2024 to 2026. And talking about awesome starting pitching, let's talk about the Miami Marlins. They haven't made a big trade yet, but it's certainly going to be Pablo Lopez who is shipped out. I'm surprised he didn't get shipped out last year at the trade deadline. There was rumors that the Jays were significantly close on making a deal, but Miami's asking price was just a little bit too steep. And at that time, hey, we had Ross Stripling just cooking, so there wasn't really an urgency there. Nonetheless, a team like the Giants or a team that's certainly competitive who wants to make a rebound like the Twins are going to make a play. Miami is going to get paid, and they don't want pitching. They certainly want infield help. That's why I thought the Yankees, actually, with their excess infield prospects, would be an ideal fit for Pablo Lopez, and don't necessarily count the Yankees out yet. They could still make a move before the season starts, and if they do, it's certainly going to be for Lopez and maybe Brian Reynolds if they can actually make it work. It's going to be one or the other, possibly, or another team. And if it goes to the midsummer break, that's where I could see a team like the Yankees getting incredibly aggressive. But some team's going to be lucky enough, and the Marlins are certainly going to get paid in prospects, for Pablo Lopez. And this guy's an excellent pitcher. He's got years of arbitration control still left with him, so he's going to be coveted by a lot of teams. So let's talk about the 2023 season. Who is excited about all the rentals that are going on at the Toronto Blue Jays? I say Skydome. I know it's Rogers Center. To me, I'm old school. It's always going to be the Skydome. Nonetheless, it's looking cool. I can't wait to get myself in there, my hands all over all the new exhibits and film this for you guys. But if you get a chance to see some of the videos that they've leaked on YouTube, some of the previews, it's starting to transition from the dome over to a feeling like an actual MLB big time park. So I'm excited for that, and I'm curious to see how the entire reno actually turns out, not just this year, but additionally next year, because it's going to be a 2-year ordeal, but we'll certainly get a sneak peek come March, April, when they clean up and get everything done. And talking about that, another thing I wanted to mention about the Jays that I'm really excited about next year, and I think it was one of the best signings of the complete offseason, is Chris Bassett. Let's talk about how important Chris Bassett is going to be for Toronto next year. Toronto specifically needed a stable number 4, number 3 type guy to go hand in hand with Berrios. We knew we had Manoah and Gausman as our 1-2. And it's tough because this was a season of significant overpay, especially for free agents and more specifically for pitchers. Look at some of the unbelievable deals that went out there. So the Jays, they got Chris Bassett only for 3 years, which is exactly where you want him considering his age. A little bit of an overpay at $21 million annually, but they're not handcuffed for 4, maybe 5 years. So it certainly works well with the competitiveness of the Jays open window. And this guy is durable, which is exactly what we need. There's nothing crazy or exciting about Chris Bassitt, but there's nothing crazy or exciting on the downside either. So it's exactly what you want as a middle rotation guy who can gobble up close to 200 innings. And that's exactly what we expect out of Chris Bassitt. So kudos, tip to the hat to the Toronto Blue Jays management. Excellent signing. Talking about management, though, that's going to give you a head scratch. What is going on with the Los Angeles Angels? I know they're having an ownership change, but whoa, is Joe Adell just going to sit there and wither away? I don't know. You don't know Joe Adell. This guy was a huge top-rated prospect coming out of Los Angeles Angels organization, outfielder, and then just kind of didn't produce over his first few years the way they wanted. He didn't get as many opportunities. The Angels really built up on their outfield, and then he went back to the minors, sometimes to the majors, sometimes to a bench player, and he hasn't had a chance. He needs a change of scenery. He needs to make this happen. He would have been an interesting piece for the Blue Jays. In fact, he'd be an interesting piece for any team. I'm going to say Baltimore, actually, because if they don't get Trey Mancini, Joe Adell, and Baltimore and Camden Yard seems like a nice fit. But please, let's see if Joe Adell can do good if he gets a change of scenery. Here's hoping for that anyways. And as we finish up, we're going to talk about one or two things, and we're going to get to the draw here in just a moment. What do you guys think about Dalton Varsho and the trade? I'm excited about him if he can really live up. There's some things I'm worried about. I'm worried, A, he's going to be like a Matt Chapman type. Pardon me, as I hydrate here. What do I mean by Matt Chapman? Matt Chapman's awesome. Love Matt Chapman. This guy is a beast on third base. This guy has power to hit 25 plus home runs. This guy's batting average kind of stinks. His ability to hit for production consistently, I don't know about Matt Chapman. But those other two things are so great that they eclipse that 230, 240 batting average. And that's my worry about Dalton Varsho, that we got somebody who's at the bottom of the order, and we gave away somebody like Gabriel Moreno for that. We'll have to wait and see. Everybody says that the Jays won the trade. I don't know. But if Dalton Varsho can get up to at least 250, hit close to 30 home runs, and give us that outfield power, I'm a happy guy. Pardon me, if he doesn't give us that defensive ability, hits like 230 and gets 20, 25 home runs, not so pleased. We'll just have to wait and see how that turns around. And it might take 1 or 2 seasons to fully understand the value of that trade. So, what am I most excited about? This is our last thing before we do the big draw. For me, next year, the big thing that I'm excited about is seeing Chris Bassitt pitch for the Jays. More excited about seeing Dalton Varsho and Kevin Kiermaier and Springer in the outfield. There's going to be some good grabs there next year. And finally, I'm ready for a playoff win, especially in Toronto. So those are my big 3 things that I'm excited about. Leave it in the comments, and I'm curious to see what you guys are excited about for the Jays season, or just a baseball season coming up for 2023. So some thank yous here. We do MLB prize vlogs, and right now we don't have a ton of subscribers. I mean, I do. I'm thankful. I have over 1,000, and I'm grateful for everybody who supports me. We did have a lot enter this, so I'm actually kind of pleased that we didn't get a ton of people who entered, because the people who did are the people who watch me regularly. And those are the people I really want to say thank you to. You guys help my channel grow. So in doing so, I am willing and happy to mail you guys out a pair of Toronto Blue Jays glove official MLB merchandise. And who are the people that commented to win and are subscribers who I have to say thank you to? We got George H. We got Nadia. We got David F. CDFMJ321. New YouTuber. Sandy PEI, and Adam B. So thank you so much. All your names are in my Blue Jays mug. I'm going to spin them up here, give it a good shake. Oh, one fell out. Let's just make that one the winner then. And who fell out? Mr. Adam B. So Adam B, we'll get a hold of you. We know you're a subscriber. Actually, I think you're on the live stream right now. Hey, he is. That is awesome. All right, Adam B., you're on the live stream. We're going to touch base with you after this. You won a pair of Toronto Blue Jays gloves. So I'm excited to get this out to you. And we'll do a prize once a month. And we're going to be doing the MLB live streams every other Sunday. We're actually going to do another one next Sunday. This was kind of just a warm-up. So that will be January the 8th, 3 p.m. Look forward to having you guys all tune in. Hit like and subscribe. Check out my vlogs if you haven't already. Also do Patreon. But hey, I'm not expecting you to send money. But if you want to support me, always appreciate that as well. More importantly, hope everybody stays safe out there. And we'll ramble on soon. Look forward to seeing you at the next live stream. Take care, everybody.